I worked all day, juggling tasks, meetings, messages, and at the end, it felt like I had done nothing. I wasn't tired from hard work, but I felt strangely empty, unfulfilled. And when I understood why this feeling always showed up, it suddenly hit me. The problem was never me. Honestly, I didn't understand this feeling for the longest time. It always followed me, from school straight into my working life. My days were always full of meetings, tasks, messages, coordinating people, decisions, responsibility. Always something to think about, always something unfinished. And I knew that my work mattered. I knew I was making an impact. But the moment I got home, it never really felt like that. I felt exhausted, empty, like the whole day amounted to nothing. What confused me most was this. When I did physical work, I felt tired and satisfied. But with school and later with my job, I almost never felt done. At first, I assumed the problem was me. Maybe I wasn't working hard enough, even though my days were packed full. Maybe I wasn't being productive enough. So I started looking for better systems. I began tracking everything, planning tighter, optimizing my days. And strangely, the more I tried to control it, the worse the feeling got. More structure didn't create relief. It created more pressure, more things to keep inside my head. And this is where a lot of people get stuck. You know the work you do matters. You know you're contributing. Yet every day you feel empty. And you start wondering if there is something wrong with you. But the mistake was never a lack of motivation, productivity, effort. The mistake was looking for the problem inside yourself instead of the structure of the day. What finally made it click for me was realizing what most days actually existed of. Not big chunks of focused work, but constant responses, constant chains of unfinished action. Now just think of it. You start your day with a plan. Maybe you want to finish up a report, review a project, or finish a design. Then you get into a meeting. It takes 30 minutes of your time. No decisions are made. But you do leave with 3 more tasks. 3 more tasks to keep track of inside of your head. Then an email comes in that you can't answer yet. Someone asks you to think of something for next week. Then a quick question from your manager prompts you to stop what you're doing. But you can't even act on it yet. None of that feels heavy in the moment. But none of it is finished either. And here's what I didn't understand for years. When something doesn't finish, your brain doesn't let it go. It keeps a part of it active. Just enough to remember, don't forget this. So as the day goes on, your head isn't tired from the work. It's crowded with half-finished thoughts. Nothing of this stays long enough to resolve or finish. And without things closing, there's no moment where your brain gets the signal, we are done with this. So it stays alert. That's why your day ends the way it does. You don't feel bad because you did nothing. You feel bad because you didn't finish anything. Once you see this, the pattern becomes impossible to unsee. Modern work demands constant responsiveness. Every meeting, every message, every task asks of you to remember something. To hold it in your head. Not finish it, just remember it. And here's the part most people miss. Your brain doesn't get used to that. It doesn't become stronger. It fragments. You can only actively hold a few unresolved things in your head at once. So instead of working deeply on one thing, your attention keeps splitting. A planning meeting will end without a clear decision. Everyone will leave with new actions, follow-up emails, reminders, tasks to check next week. Meanwhile, a Slack thread will ping with a question you can't answer yet. A teammate will ask you for input on a design. Nothing closes. Each loop just adds to the pile. By the afternoon, your mental bandwidth isn't used up by hard thinking. It's used up by unfinished thoughts. And because nothing ever fully resolves, your brain never gets the signal, we are done. And so, the day will end exactly like it started. Busy, responsible, and strangely unresolved. Not because you failed, but because the system never allows completion. Once I saw this whole chain clearly, the feeling finally made sense. Activity is not progress. Effort is not closure. My days weren't empty because I did nothing. They felt empty because nothing ever truly finished. Modern work keeps you in motion. It keeps you responding, coordinating, keeping things alive, but never truly lets anything resolve. And when it does, something new gets added on. So your brain stays loaded. Not because you can't handle the work, no, definitely not. But because it never gets the signal to let go. That's why this experience is so widespread. It's not about motivation, it's not about discipline. And it's definitely not about working harder. Modern work creates activity without closure. And when a system produces the same feeling in knowledge workers, architects, engineers, managers, creatives, the problem isn't personal, it's structural. And here's a small mental trick you can try as you go through your day. Notice which tasks and loops your brain keeps open. Observe when something truly finishes and how it feels. Notice which loops you find yourself returning to without progress. That alone is a signal of where the system is creating friction. You don't have to change anything or try to fix the system. Just recognizing where closure is missing already takes a lot of the pressure off. If this open loop is familiar to you, nothing is wrong with you. You're responding exactly as a healthy brain does in a system that never lets the day land. So here's what I want you to remember. Being busy is not the same as making progress. Effort alone doesn't create closure. And feeling empty at the end of the day is not a personal failure. It's a predictable outcome of the way modern work is designed. Meetings, messages, tasks, coordination. They keep you moving, but rarely let you finish anything. Your brain is doing exactly what it should, keeping unresolved things active so you don't forget them. Once you see your day through this lens, a lot of the confusion will disappear. You start to recognize that this feeling isn't about you failing. It's about the system you are operating in. You are not to blame. You are not failing. Modern work creates activity without closure. And now you can finally see it for what it is and stop doubting yourself. And if you want to know how to stop feeling exhausted after work, why don't you watch this video? Because together we can engineer a mind that works for you.